Hello and welcome back to The Hungry Lamb. My name is Ming Dynasty, and last time we wake up and we're like, oh god, there are these bandit or like other rebels attacking us. Oh no, so we try to run away just to get killed. But then we decide to, no, we'll follow them, we'll say that we're traveling performers, and they take us in and we meet their dashing general who's like, alright, fight me or fight a whole bunch of people and we'll see if you're worthy of leaving, basically. And after a friendly bout, we they give us permission to leave, but they're actually kind of cool. They're like, stay at night, we'll give you food and drinks, just perform for our people because they don't know when they're going to die. So we do that, and then we leave the next day. We arrive at the city that we're trying to go to. We're denied at the door because they're not letting people in. So we get like conned by this homeless dude to go to this inn, and the inn has like people who are basically trying to scam us for a night there and extra food. So as we leave, we speak with the manager, who happens to be the person that Liang is looking for. So they reminisce about their past, about how Liang was basically a bandit, kind of broke into her house but saved her from the other bandits, and some other complicated things. But later on, she gives him an option to either sell the kids as child brides where he can get some money and leave, or he can basically sell the two sisters for a significantly lesser amount, and they'll have better lives because they'll be basically assistants there instead of child brides. So we choose the bad option, which is, yeah, just sell them as child brides. I need the money. I want to scram with Mansui, so we're going to go to Luoyang. And on our way there, Liang has a dream of being stabbed by Mansui, but actually it's real. She actually stabbed him through the neck, and it is revealed that yes, he did indeed kill her father and basically ruin her family. So right now I'm gonna head in and do the other option, which is to sell the two sisters as like servants so that they can have better lives here with Kite, which was her name. So we're gonna head into it. It was called Wolf and Liang. So right now this is a choice, which is to sell for a good price or reconsider. Here we gotta reconsider. Let me think it over some more. When faced with Kite's question, I didn't give her an immediate answer. There's been this voice inside me all along saying, get a good price for them. It said some other things too. I've done enough. I've killed Tongue and saved these lambs. How can I care about them when I'm struggling to protect myself? But even though these thoughts kept ringing in my head, I hesitated. I'll think it over.
いいわ。とことん考えなさい。暗くなってきた。何か食べさせてあげる。話はまた明日にしましょう。
So far, Kite's been pretty cool. I don't really have too many bad things to say about her other than, I guess, her business practices because she is basically thriving on scamming people. But this is a rough world. With a slight smile, Kite stepped away for a moment. I ignored Kite's advice and didn't go straight to the kitchen for food. Instead, I wandered outside the inn, feeling restless. Like a confused wolf, I paced back and forth, hungry but unsure due to my inner struggle. Reflecting on the past 20 days only heightened my agitation. I'd be uncomfortable sending off these lambs as child brides. Too many bad people out there. What if they run into someone who beats or curses them? Or eats them, I don't know. What if they're forced to have babies and die in childbirth? Or worse, what if they end up sold to the wine demon by whomever bought them? How would I have saved them at all then? That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. They get sold to basically people who are going to sell it for a higher profit to the swine demon. Not good. I can't risk their future like that. Oh damn, he spent the entire day thinking about this. The sky darkened and my stomach growled in hunger. Ugh. It's time to eat something. We're gonna get the scene where they serve him the food and it's gonna be like the Grinch where he has a heart and he's gonna feel it and it's like, I can't do this no more. I walked into the inn with the sun behind me, heading towards the lobby. Inside, the innkeeper was tidying up the tables while the burly man I taught a lesson earlier was settling the inn's account book. I hadn't expected him to also handle account books. After asking them about the kitchen, I was pointed to the right direction. Oh wow. It is an inn, but it's better than I expected. A few steps later, I found myself in the kitchen. Surprisingly, all the lambs were there.
水児、その包丁置け。
Oh, they're getting training now.
やだ、使うんだもん。
I'm gonna stab a bitch.
まだ包丁を使うには早い。 手を切って怪我したらどうすんだ。
お姉ちゃんのケチ。
ケチなんか言うんじゃねえ。怪我なんてしたら薬も医者もいねえべさ。
You know we can't afford that. You don't want to be like Monsui's brother. I mean, what?
ほらほら、二人とも喧嘩しないの。コウジ、私が教えてあげる。ついでに見ててあげるから。
はあ、水姉さんがそう言うなら仕方ねえ。
水姉さん大好き。
Aw, so cool.
ニンニク、白菜。白菜よ。ニンニクはまだ剥いてないから切れない。
They all huddled by the stove in the back kitchen. Mansui stood there in the center with Hong-er and Kui-er on one side and Qianghua on the other. From afar, it seemed like the last was showing Kui-er how to handle a knife. Oh boy, she knows how to handle one. What are you all doing? I walked up, curious about their activities.
りょう様。
Well, we're trying to surprise you, no! Qianghua and Kui-er spotted me first and gasped. Then Mansui and Hong-er turned around to see me too. When they noticed me, they all got tense and swiftly hid their hands behind their back. Oh, that is it. I saw on the cutting board that there was pork, garlic, and some chopped cabbage. This... Are they cooking?
りょう様、
Let them cook.
いらっしゃったのですね。
Oh, she's smiling even though she's thinking like, oh, should I kill him later? Mansui greeted me with a beaming smile. I do kind of wonder now though, because like, once again, this entire time, it seems like Mansui's goal was to either kill Liang or reform him, see if he's worthy of living despite ruining her family. And if Liang has changed enough to the point where he's putting the children's lives before his own, then she's like, okay, yeah, you've changed enough. I can't hold my hatred against you anymore. But if it's like, you know, if he doesn't, then she kills him. But what does this have to do with the swine demon? Does she actually have a grudge against the swine demon? Or was it just a completely artificial reason that she made up to join the journey? Because it is super risky. I glanced at her grin, then eyed the other lambs puzzled. Why are y'all acting sneaky? You sneaking snacks or something? I asked the lambs in a low voice.
ちげえ、盗み食いじゃねえ。
We aren't sneaking no food. Oh, it's a double negative. They're sneaking food, all right. Get them! Then what are you doing?
りょう様、水姉さんが私たちに料理の作り方を教えてくれてるんです。
Huh? Why all the sneakiness for cooking? I prodded further, wanting to know more from Qianghua.
水姉さんが言ったの。内緒でご飯を作って、りょう様に食べさせて、びっくりさせようって。
Man, this might be a little bit spoilers. I don't really want to talk too much about it. I'll just be extremely vague so I don't have to put a spoiler warning. But it really reminds me, Mansui's relationship kind of reminds me of a relationship that Thorfinn in Vinland Saga has with a different character. I don't think they showed up in the anime yet, but they show up in the manga. They have a very similar dynamic, and at one point things get resolved, and it's very, very emotional. And I kind of wonder if Mansui will react in a similar way.
りょう様が先に知ったら、びっくりしないかもしれないから。
Xianghua lowered her head and her face slightly red, and nervously clutched her clothes, revealing the truth. The other Nams nodded along. It didn't look like a lie. Seems like it was my fault. I barged into their kitchen and disrupted the surprise that they had. Sorry, I'm something's wrong with me today. I feel like I keep saying this every episode, but like I think I have like a cut on my lip, and it's preventing me from like saying things properly sometimes. Okay, I barged into their kitchen and disrupted the surprise they had prepared.
りょう様見て、野菜切れるよ。
Kui-er called out to me. I leaned over to see her chopping. She gripped the knife in one hand and pressed down with the other, putting all her weight into slicing the cabbages. Ooh, don't do it. No, you're not supposed to put all your weight. I know you're small, but if you put all your weight on it, then if anything happens, you could accidentally cut off a finger or something. With some effort, she managed to cut off a piece of cabbage and then look at me with pride, as if waiting for praise. Your chopping technique might be a bit awkward, but at least you got the job done. Not bad. But when you're stronger and your aim is steadier, you can try using a straight chop. I thought he was gonna say, you should try using a sword, and he just whips out his katana. I calmly told her as I took the knife from her hand. I held the cabbage in one hand while gripping the knife handle in the other. Then I swiftly made 3 cuts, slicing the cabbage evenly.
確かにりょう ょう様みたいに切った方が早いです。
Yeah, I kinda know my way around a blade. It's nothing special.
私もやって
水事、まだダメだ。力が強くなったらって両様も言っただろ
Hunger's
う。
got a
ま
point.
だうまく切れないんだから。
Queer seems like she probably would hurt herself.
お姉ちゃん嫌い。またやらせてくれないんだから。
Chonghua praised my knife skills while the two sisters argued again about cutting vegetables. What are you cooking up there? I asked the lambs curiously while eyeing the vegetables on the cutting board. There's a big cabbage, some wild greens, a bulb of garlic, and what looked like not enough, 2 eggs and a small piece of pork. What's the plan for this dish?
簡単な料理3品です。山菜溶き卵汁、ニンニク肉炒め、適当な白菜炒め。
Sounds pretty good. Huh? You're the one teaching them?
そうですよ。前にお母さんが教えてくれたんです。
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this is possible, but like, man, her mom... I don't know what to say about her mom. Her mom... I want to say it was cruel, but given the time period, I feel like that is something that a lot of people would do. But just the idea of selling your family member, it's just hard to really comprehend in today's world, at least for me. So it's like, I can't help but just view her negatively. Monsui proudly smiled at me with a hint of smugness in her eyes. This last knows quite a lot of things. Alright, you girls go on ahead and cook. I won't be in the way. I'll come back to taste it when you're done.
もちろん。両様に食べてもらいたかったんですから。
No more hiding needed.
りょう様、たくさん食べてね。
Monsui nodded and Queer seems excited too. They're pretty fired up. I wonder how it'll turn out. Watching them from afar, my gaze softened and a slight smile playing at the corner of my lips. If, at this moment, I had a bronze mirror in front of me, I probably wouldn't recognize myself, would I? Yeah, he can't do it. Okay, so here we have the egg drop soup, here we have the sauteed cabbage, and here we have the garlic stir-fry pork. Oh yeah, I've definitely had all these dishes before. And here they have, I don't remember how to pronounce this in English. Yeah, I forgot. They're kind of like leeks. I think it might straight up be leeks. I don't remember. The sun went down. I sat at the wooden table in the lobby of the inn. The lambs brought out the cooked food. Steam rose from the dishes, filling the inn with a delicious smell. I was pretty hungry, but I didn't rush to eat to keep up a grown-up image. My image matters more.
どうぞ、両様、召し上がれ。
After the dishes were all served, hunger urged me on. She seemed quite eager. Got it. When people finish cooking, they're always the most eager for others to eat. I remember when I was a kid, my dad, while still around, used to be the first to tell me to eat once he cooked, threatening to spank me if I didn't eat while it was still hot.
さあ、りょう様、食べて。
Queer handed me a pair of chopsticks, eager for me to taste her cooking. Alright, I wonder which one he's gonna eat first. I'm gonna call the pork. I nodded and used the chopsticks to pick up a piece of the garlic stir-fried pork. Click. I took a bite and chewed slowly. I savored the flavor of the meat. Oh, it's good. It was cooked just right, tender and juicy, although a bit lacking seasoning. I couldn't blame them. The kitchen probably didn't have many spices on hand.
りょう様、どうだ？
Man, you can tell like the state of this inn because all the plates that they have are like damaged in some way. Hunger eagerly asked. It's good. Pretty tasty. I said simply. Hunger and Queer looked happy hearing that.
りょう様、山菜汁を飲んでみてください。
Xianghua offered as I finished the meat. She handed me a wooden spoon. Seems like she had a big part in this dish. I remember seeing her washing the wild veggies earlier. I took a spoonful of soup and tasted it. Strong veggie taste.
美味しくないですか？
Xianghua seemed disappointed. Oh, no, it's actually pretty good. I didn't want Xianghua to feel too bad, so I said the soup was okay, even though I didn't really like it. It is pretty good, but I only ate meat. It's not her fault though. Wild greens just aren't my thing. Maybe I need something else to balance it out, like a bit of cooking wine? After the soup, I checked out the third dish.
りょう様、 召し上がれ。
Matsui smiled at me expectantly. Looks like she made this dish. I picked up the chopsticks and grabbed a piece of the stir-fried cabbage. Matsui smiled as she watched me eat. This lass, she's in Spike made food, right? No, I'm not killing you yet. Depends on what your next action is. Seeing her sneaky grin, I got this weird idea. Nah, she wouldn't. Sure, I scolded her and spanked her, but poison? Doubt it. Plus, the other lambs will eat this later. Even if she wanted to poison me, she wouldn't harm the lambs who called her sis sweet, would she? Thinking that, I felt a bit better. I grabbed my chopsticks and dug into the cabbage. Oh! It's cooked real nice. The cabbage felt just right. Not too crunchy, not too soft. And she poured some pork broth on top and sprinkled chopped garlic, giving it some extra flavor. Ooh, okay, I want to be honest. I love cabbage, especially like Napa cabbage when it's cooked with like some sauce from like meat. It's just so good. So I feel like this is pretty much what he's eating, and that dish, despite being all vegetable pretty much, is my jam. Gotta say, this lass knows how to cook.
りょう様、美味しいでしょ?
Matsui leaned on the table and looked at me. Okay, about as good as the other two dishes. Maybe a little tastier. I spoke carefully, not wanting to make the little brat too proud.
スイ姉さんの白菜はスイジが切ったのよ。
Oh, you did a good job, Queer. Queer raised her hand. Yeah, I saw you chopping it earlier. I smiled at Queer and she grinned back, showing her teeth. Join in. Don't just watch me eat. I prompted the lambs to join in. After I said that, they obediently picked up their chopsticks and started eating.
りょう様、ご飯をおかわりすっか?
Ah, no need. I got it.
んだ。
Aww.
スイ、これ食べろ。お姉ちゃん、自分でやるから。
I got this. Don't worry. I'm great. I got these skills.
なんだ包丁を使わせなかったこと怒ってんのか?
Yeah.
怒ってない。スイ姉さんは料理が上手ね。私ももっと上手くなりたい。
Jozu,
ゆっ
yes.
くり覚えればいいわ。何事もすぐにできるようにはならないから。
りょう様、もっと食べて。汁に入った卵も美味しいから。
Alright, I'll give it another try. I swear, the dishes are not getting smaller. I took another spoonful of the vegetable soup. I got some egg drop in it too. Definitely tastier with the egg drop it added. Oh, there we go. As I ate, I watched the lambs before me. They didn't say anything to express their gratitude, but through the meal, I could feel their closeness. I don't know if it was Monsui's idea or a group decision. They probably felt my kindness on the journey, providing food, drink, and safety, so they want to show their gratitude with this meal. What kind of person am I to them? I figure at the start, me and Tung were pretty much the same. Both of us were human traffickers, with Tung being a bit harsher and me being a bit quieter. But as we traveled and experienced more together, they began to see the difference between us. They weren't as scared of me anymore, especially after the bathhouse incident in the Wenxiang. Yeah, that was definitely like the big icebreaker moment, because like they really saw how far they can push their boundaries. Like, dang, give me everything, please. Oh no, I need a bucket. I need some soap. I need some clothes. Fine. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Later, I off-tongued for them, joined their shadow plays, and got closer. Started feeling less like a human trafficker and more like an older friend. Friend. I don't think there's a wolf in the world who can be friends with sheeps. So, if I took them as my friends, can I still call these lambs? Maybe it's time I see them as kids. 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 In that case, as a grown friend, I can't just send these kids off to be child brides. If that happens, the sisters will be split up, maybe never to see each other again. If that happens, Chonghua will never be able to see her parents again, and she'll have regrets for the rest of her life. And Mansui, that lass, I can't quite figure her out. I don't know how she'd take it. I know how she'd take it. She'd fucking kill me. But I know that this isn't what she wants either. I guess that's it then. I really can't do it. I see them as important kids, not cut out to be a wolf. Kui-er, Hong-er. I called out their names softly.
りょう様、何？りょう様？
Kui-er and Hong-er looked at me curiously. How did the waiter treat you earlier?
優しかった。厨房まで連れてきてくれた。
Aw, that big guy has a soft heart. Just kind of has to look mean to get money out of people.
んだ。私たちにご飯を作るつもりで好きなものを聞いてくれた。水姉さんが自分たちで作るって言わなかったら作ってくれたは
Aw, he's scouting out the environment to see, like, are these people able to take care of these two kids? Because if they're abusive, then there's no point in making this deal. The innkeeper, how was she?
ず。人。あんなに綺麗なお姉さんは初めて見た。いいお姉さんみたい。
Oh, great, they already passed. They called her One-san. One more thing. If you could choose, would you go somewhere nice or back home? I asked a critical final question.
家に帰りたい。お父さんお母さん、弟と一緒にいたい。
Oh, they had a younger brother. I didn't even realize that. Kui-er spoke up first, her eyes shining. Yeah, they were sold, so it's probably the same situation as like Monsui's family. We're like, why don't we just sell Monsui? We need money to raise our boy child, our son, because he's the one that matters. Their family is probably the similar way where it's like, yeah, we need to sell our girl so we can raise our boy. Hong-er interrupted her sister.
りょう様、私たちはところへ行きて。家には帰りたくねえ。両親が言ってた。家は荒らされ、食べ物はねえって。家に帰っても家族を巻き添えにして死ぬだけだ。私たちが嫁げば、暮らしもできるし、生き延びて家を助けることも。
Oh man, this is really sad because Hong-er basically understands the situation. She isn't bitter at her family for selling her and her sister. She's just she still wants to be with her family, but she understands that going back will change nothing, and they're still gonna have to like basically sell them again in order to basically live because they don't have enough money. So her plan is to become less of a burden to her family and be able to become, at least hopefully, marry well into a family and basically get enough money so that they can return to their family eventually. Wow, that's a lot more mature than I was expecting. I mean, Kui-er, obviously, the youngest here, it's 6 years old, I believe. She's just like, I want to go back to mom and dad and, you know, little bro. But Kui-er, despite only being 9, she's like, yeah, this stuff is necessary and we have to find the best way to survive for everyone. Oh, shit. Hong-er spoke each word carefully, as if remembering her parents' words. Ah. I stayed quiet. Hong-er was wise beyond her years. She knew their family sent them away because they couldn't afford to feed them. It was practically selling them off. Even if they returned, they'd likely be sold off again. Kui-er didn't grasp this, and Hong-er couldn't explain it to her. It's better not to understand some things. But I hope they won't bother coming back to help the family which sold them. That kind of family, what's there to help? Alright, I get your point. Let me ask you one more thing. I said seriously, having made up my mind. I lowered my head and then raised it to meet their eyes. It's the moment. Kui-er, Hong-er, I've thought about it. I found you a good place. If you stay with the innkeeper here, living with that sister for a while, would you be okay with that? I questioned the two, their eyes widening with sudden unease.
りょう様、私たちをここに置き去りにすんのか？やだ！りょう様と一緒がいい！
Aw, they got close enough to be like, no! No! After a brief pause, Hong-er's voice quivered as she asked, and tears welled up in Kui-er's eyes. She had nearly cried when she thought about going home earlier. And now that hearing that I'm gonna leave her behind, she wanted to cry even more. No tears, okay? Let me explain. I'm not trying to leave you guys behind. It's just that I was going to drop you off here. I took a oh shit, he's actually saying it. I took a job from Yin-san to send you all as child brides. But I thought about it, and sending you as a child bride would separate you two. Better for you to stay together here at the inn. After my words, Hong-er and Kui-er grew quieter. They stared at me, seeming lost in thought. After a moment, Hong-er spoke up again.
じゃありょう様は行っちゃう？
Aww. Hong-er's been like the mature sibling. She tried her best like never to show weakness, despite the fact that she's clearly like not as capable as like Monsui, for example, but she had to act like much more mature for the sake of her sister because she had to be responsible for her sister as well. But now she's like, no! She's acting her age. Hong-er raised her eyes, her voice still tinged with tears. Yes, I will have to leave eventually. I let out a sigh. I've got my own stuff to handle, got some old enemies to dodge. Once I sort you two out, I'm heading south to lay low for a while. I was a bit surprised myself. Surprised myself for being so upfront with the sisters. But you know, I'll remember this inn's location. Maybe one day I'll come back to see you here. When fate allows, people will meet again sooner or later. I told Kui-er as I gently patted her head, you know, he's not wrong. It's like, as long as I keep living and I know this place, he could stop by. I mean, once again, as fate allows, it has already allowed him to meet up with Kaita already, so like... I found myself wearing a forced, gentle smile. A rare sight indeed. The smile felt stiff even to me, yet I somehow managed to make it. I didn't want these girls to cry again.
それは分かってる。この宿屋に残ってもいい。でも、りょう様、絶対に会いに来て。
Aww.
水事も残る。お姉ちゃんと別れたくない。りょう様、水姉さんもケイカ姉さんも絶対に会いに来てね。
Hong-er and Kui-er said to us. Monsui and Xianghua smiled seeing them like that. Xianghua. After confirming Hong-er and Kui-er's intention, I turned to Xianghua.
りょう様。
Xianghua looked at me, put down her chopsticks, and fidgeted in her seat. She just heard what I said to the sister, so likely guessed what I was going to say. I know where you come from. Forget what Yin-san told you. You'll stay here for a while. I'll talk to the innkeeper and try to find your family. If I find them, they can come and get you. Now, do you still want to see them? Tears welled up in Xionghua's eyes. She's gonna say yes. Because it seems like in her condition, or for like the state that she's in, she wasn't abandoned by her family. She was kidnapped. And she doesn't have any bad blood with her family. She just understands that they can't really afford to save her because they're already in so much hot water from their family situation. But she still loves her family, clearly. She bit her lip, her jaw shaking and her eyelashes trembling. Yeah. Shortly after, she uttered a word with tearful voice. This word made her answer clear to me. All right, I'll do it, I said firmly, meeting her gaze. If she wants to see her family, I'll make it happen. Now there's technically Monsui
よく
left.
考えた？
Okay. After an hour, we finished eating. I met with Kite again, chatting in the lobby. I've thought it over. I'm gonna do the right thing. Those two sisters will stay here. I'll sell them to you for 10 taels and trouble you to take care of them in the future. For Qianghua, I'll find her family. Any ideas?
彼女の家族のことを知ってるの？
I checked. Her father was an official in the capital, but got sent to the border for cozying up too much with the Inspector General Yuan. Hang tight. I'll pry into her parent status and report back.
両親の身分が分かったら、彼女はしばらくここにいればいい。行方を探して連絡してあげるわ。
So, should I give you money for finding out and sending letters?
いらないわ。彼女の両親からもらうから。手紙の金もあの子を送り出す旅費も両親に出してもらう。
That's true. If her parents are officials, they probably have money. They're probably well off. So, like, any money that she can get, for any money that she spends on helping Qianghua will probably be reimbursed by the parents. But her parents got exiled to the border. They got money?
軍に入れられたのでなければ、それくらいの金はあるはず。
Ah.
安心して。本当になかったら無理にとは言わないから。この子に未練があるなら、
Wow.
私が送り届けてあげる。
Despite Kite running like this shady inn, I guess she's just trying to capitalize off the man because like this is an area where you can't get into the city. It's a nearby inn. A lot of people want to stay here, maybe, even though when we came here it was relatively empty. So she's just capitalizing off people who need it and people who can afford it. So basically people who, you know, are willing to pay. But overall, she seems like she's got like a pretty good heart. She cares about the kids as well, and she's like, you know, I won't rip one into the parents as long as they care about the kid. That's pretty generous considering the situation everyone in China is in at this moment. Okay. After hearing Kite's plan for Qianghua, I felt better.
でも、最後のその子は?
Oh, that one's a little bit complicated. Kite looked at me, asking about Mansui. Oh yeah, she meant Mansui. I guess Mansui made quite the impression on her too. That lass wants to go to Luoyang. Has her own plans. I don't fully agree, but I'll tag along to Luoyang and chat with her on the way. Heard she's lost all her close kin. I'll try finding some distant relatives around Luoyang. If not, we'll figure something out then. I remarked casually. When it comes down to Mansui, that lass, I'm confident. I'm also cautious. On one hand, I trust her smarts. She could find her way out of any mess. But on the other hand, I can't shake the feeling that she's hiding something from me, especially with her insistence on going to Luoyang. I need to sit down and have a chat with her, clear the air.
いいわ。そんなにたくさん子供を預かれないし、あなたが連れて行けばいい。
I will say, I'm surprised that Kite asked for the sisters, because like, it seems like the competent ones are Mansui and maybe Qianghua for having, you know, grown up with etiquette. So she probably would be better at treating people. But she asked for like the two basically hillbilly girls. But maybe she just saw their situations. Like, I can mold these people into something better. And they're the ones that need the most help probably.
明日、宿場のつてを頼りに貨物輸送の馬車を用意してもらう。そうすれば早く落葉に到着できる。
Kite's got the deeds. We should have connected with her earlier. Taking a cargo wagon saves walking. Awesome. Thanks. I nod to Kite, but then I pause, realizing there's something else I need to ask her. Kite, I've got one more thing to ask.
どんなこと?
Know how to get into Haizhou?
知ってるわ。廃州城は封鎖されてるけど、毎朝鳥が鳴く頃、東南の門が開いて商人が出入りするの。
Do we still need to have a reason to go to Haizhou?
明日朝早く起きたら店の小僧に案内させるわ。でも、あなた一人で行くのよ。
No problem. Was planning on going alone anyway. Is he gonna sell like the shadow play stuff? Since now that their group is, I mean, still him and Mansui, they can both, you know, perform, but maybe they don't need to anymore since the journey's gonna end soon.
中に入って何をするの?
Kite blinked, puzzled by my sudden trip into the city tomorrow. Just gonna go to the market to buy stuff. Need supplies for the journey, selling the pack horses for money. And since we're parting soon, I'll get them gifts. I awkwardly told Kite. He's like, I'm not used to being nice. Kite chuckled softly when she heard me say that. What's amusing? I frowned, wondering why she was laughing. Stop laughing at me, that's mean.
別に。ただ久しぶりに会ったのに、ちっとも変わってないなと思って。
I kind of wonder if Kite figured out that that Liang was one of the people that basically also inadvertently ruined her life, because he was one of the bandits that raided her the landowner's place, her place, and you know, caused her family to basically get killed, and her almost being like violated and killed as well. I mean, the thing is, Kite seems like she's pretty smart. She probably figured it out, but also understands that well, there are many bandits, and Liang went against them just to save her, despite the fact that he could have easily just run away. So maybe that's the reason why she's still very close to him, despite what I assume is knowing that he was one of the people who attacked her family. Still me?
うん。あなたはあなたのまま。狼じゃなくて。竜よ。
You're not a wolf. You're Liang. Here we get Wolf and Liang. We finally get not really a title drop, but like the moment. Kite smirked and spoke vaguely. Her eyes showed a mix of pity, mockery, and tenderness. Kite's words were nonsense. Calling me a good person who lived up to my name was laughable. I've taken out plenty of people, and even if I stopped, the debts I owe will never be repaid in a lifetime. I'm no saint. I'm just a fool who wants to be a wolf but ended up a half-baked one. That's all. Next chapter? Damn, Liang, chapter 14, gift. Oh wait, that's the area where we were in like the cart. Wow. So after this, we're gonna get like the we're gonna get chapter 4 for Mansui. That's gonna be freaking rough, man. We're gonna see basically how Mansui, how her family died. It's because, well, the dad couldn't come home. Brother's already sick. Mother seems like she's going delirious. So yeah, things are not gonna be great. But before that, we gotta do this chapter. You know, while we're at, like, we just finished that chapter, I do want to talk about it a little bit. Damn, that moment was pretty strong. It really shows, like, yeah, it pretty much defines the relationship between Liang and the kids. Because previously, he was doing it because, well, he killed Tung to save the kids, to give them a better future, but he didn't really consider them, like, what's the right word? He didn't really feel that close to them. They were just people that he was trying to save, people that he's gotten close to, but it wasn't like that close to the point where he'd sacrifice his own life for. But at this point, he's like, no, these girls are kind of precious to me, and it shows why. It's like, man, they care for me too. I care for them. I want the best for them, and I'm gonna go out of my way to make sure that I can get them the best ending that I can possibly get. Because, I mean, it's already showing that he's basically operating at a loss. But in order for him to, like, basically before he was acting on his consciousness, but now he's acting on something else, which is something I think was really well done. And honestly, I thought we were gonna leave the two kids at the inn, and we were gonna travel with Xianghua to her parents' place, or at least try to find them with her. But no, we're leaving all of them at the inn aside from Mansui. So basically, from now on, it's gonna be like a one-way trip to Luoyang after the gifts. Yeah. At dawn, I went out early with the waiter. We went to the city through the southeast gate of Haito, heading to the morning market to buy stuff. We only had about 2 hours to shop, as being late meant that we'd be stuck inside the city. We hurried along, hardly talking. Along the way, I counted the days since I met these girls. It had been about 20 days, if my math was right. Looking back, I realized how much these 20 days has changed me. The old me would have been shocked to see all I've done for these girls now.
旦那、何かお探しで?
I'm looking to buy gifts for 4 girls, ranging from 12 to 6 years old. What do you think would be suitable?
おや、それでしたら、うちにも女の子がいます。何がいいかわかりますよ。
Yeah, sure you do, sure you do.
小さい女の子は、風車やでんでん太鼓、ガラガラですね。一つあげれば長く遊べます。大きい子は12歳くらいになると見た目を気にします。着るものや装飾品がいいでしょう。
So seeing how Mansui is most likely the oldest one there, that means she's probably gonna get something that is like I don't know about her clothing, but she's probably gonna get an accessory to remember Liang by.
おや、若く見えますが、お宅に4人も女の子がいるんですか？
Situation, don't worry about it. I'm not married and they're not mine. Just kids I'm looking after for friends. Enough chat. Show me what you got.
あいや。
I got gifts for the girls. Oh, let's just look at the sky. Later, I grabbed breakfast at a bun shop and got a basket of buns to go. After packing up everything, I met with the waiter and we headed back to the inn together. Wow, that was a very quick trip. But I guess the meat of this section is gonna be everyone's reaction to their respective gifts. Get up, all of you, downstairs to the lobby. After returning to the inn, I went to the girls' door and knocked 3 times and told them to come downstairs. They straightened up their clothes, rubbed their sleepy eyes, and slowly gathered in the lobby.
りょう様、どうしてこんな早くに起こした？
Early? What do you mean? I've already gone out to town, did some shopping, had breakfast, and come back. What do you mean, early? It's not early anymore. The rooster crowed 2 hours ago. Come, got you girls a basket of buns. I laid the bundle containing the buns on the table and opened it up. 8 buns were laid out, catching the girls' eyes right away. Ah, 2 each.
ですか？わあ、りょう様、優しい。肉まん。
The 3 girls gathered excitedly, their eyes sparkling as if about to drool at the sight of the buns. What are you waiting for? Dig in, but only take 2 each. No more. I chuckled, and the kids eagerly reached out to grab their
りょう
buns.
様の分は？
I already had breakfast. I had like 5. Monsui asked, puzzled, holding one. Nope, already had mine. Finish up, then I'll show you what I got for you girls. I casually remarked as they chewed on their buns.
お買い物？
Queer asked me with a mouthful of buns. With a mouthful of bun, her words somewhat muffled. Yeah, I bought gifts for you in another package.
私も見る。
Not now! The 2 sisters came to the package containing the gifts, holding their buns. Wait, finish eating before checking out the gifts. Don't forget to wash your hands or you'll dirty them. I cautioned them, the eager girls, seriously. They obediently tucked their hands behind their backs. What's the rush? After half an incense stick of time, I still don't know how long that is. I'm gonna assume maybe an incense stick of time is like an hour. The lambs finished their buns. They wiped their oily mouths, washed their hands, and gathered around the wooden table, eagerly waiting for me to unwrap the package. I opened the package, revealing its contents to them. A red tambourine, a green clay rattle, a purple wind wheel toy. Here, these are all for you. I pointed the gifts in the package, speaking slowly. Wow! Queer gasped, leaning in to get a better look at the gifts. The other lambs were glued to the site as well. I aimed to hand out the gifts individually and show them how to play with each one. Here's your tambourine.
どうやって遊ぶんだ？
You slap it together and it makes noise. Watch. Hold it like this, spin it back and forth and to make some noise. Oh, it's one of those. It's like the a stick with a drum on it with like 2 strings with little balls and you just like
りょう様、ありがとう。
After showing her how to use a tambourine, I gave it to her. She seemed pretty happy with it. Here's your clay rattle.
ガラガラ、どうやって遊ぶの？
I have no idea, I don't know what that is. Just shake it near your ear or roll it on the ground. You'll hear something special.
やってみる。わあ、砂の音。スイ、お礼を言え。りょう様、ありがとう。
Gotta learn the manners. I gave the clay rattle to Kui. She took it carefully, like she was holding a treasure. Quietly, she shook it by her ear, enjoying the sound of sand inside. Qianghua.
Hi.
Don't get too excited. Here, take this windmill. I gave the windmill to Qianghua. I wasn't sure if this little thing would be too shabby, but I couldn't think of anything else suitable, so I picked this for you.
そんなことはありません。とても気に入りました。
Just blow on it, and the windmill will start spinning.
やってみます。りょう様、本当に回った。綺麗。
Xianghua showed me the wind wheel, really excited. Well, if she's happy with it, that's good. Honestly, I was worried that she might not like it, given her background. But thankfully, kids are usually like anything you give them.
りょう様、私に贈り物はないのですか？
You get nothing. We're not done with our journey yet. I'm not leaving you yet. After unpacking everything from the package, Mansui suddenly spoke up. She poked my arm, frowning slightly, seeming mostly confused but a bit annoyed. Nope, didn't buy you anything. Her face now showed equal parts confusion and irritation. Since you weren't well behaved, I didn't buy you one. Now she's mostly annoyed.
もらうつもりもない。
She muttered in frustration, then turned away from me. I'm just kidding, you fell for it, fool! Thunder cross split attack! She seemed mad. Had my fun. Time to drop the act. Okay, no more teasing. Actually, I got you a gift too, but I didn't give it to you because we still have some time traveling ahead.
そうだったんですね。じゃあ、りょう様はなぜ私を騙したんです？
It was at this moment, like 2 moments ago, where she was like, I'm gonna fucking kill him, I'm gonna fucking kill him! Plans reversed! Because you tricked me before, so I want to get back at you and see how you react.
りょう様はいい年していたずら好きだなんて子供っぽい。
Maybe so, but sorry, I was thrown off because like they always say their line until the end, until they have another line or voice line, but every time it turns to Lang, it keeps playing whatever they previously had. So although it's a bit into the game, it still throws me off. So I thought she was gonna say something. Maybe so, but I had to get even with you, or I wouldn't feel right. Once we laughed and teased me, I didn't respond kindly.
それはどんな贈り物でいつ見せてくれるんですか？
I'll open it up for you later on the carriage ride. Kite. After giving the gifts to the lambs, I called out Kite.
どうしたの？もう行くの？
Yeah, it's go time. Kite lifted the curtain from the back kitchen and strolled over. Yeah, the gifts are done. Get to pack up with the last, leaving soon.
ずいぶん急ね。
Is it get to or got to?
もう少し休んだら。
Got no choice. Delayed too long. Employers might catch on. Taking this last to Loyan first, then escaping south.
やっぱり落葉へ行くのね。
I don't want to, but that's her gift, you know.
行かなきゃいけないの。
Mansui chimed in eagerly. It wasn't until then that I remembered. Stayed up too late last night and had to rise early. I still hadn't talked to the last about what she planned to do in Loyan. I wanted to persuade her to give up on her revenge, to let go of the swine demon. But I never got round to it. Oh well, we'll be passing through Loyan anyways on our way south. I can talk to her on the road. No rush.
いいわ。今朝老牛を宿場に送って話をつけてもらったから。私の名前を告げて乗ればいいだけよ。
It's the old bull.
りょう、あなたって会うたびに逃げてるような気がするんだけど。
Kite chuckled, teasing me. I had to admit, she had a point. You know, I could take like a day or two here to chill. Every time I met her, it did feel like I was either escaping or on the run. As I spaced out, I heard Kui-er's voice.
りょう様は行っちゃうの？
Kui-er held the clay rattle I gave her, looking at me with a puzzled expression. Yeah, I'm leaving with Sis Sui soon. Aww. Upon hearing that we were leaving soon, the 3 girls seemed a bit panicked. Aww. Kui-er rushed over, clutching onto my leg tightly. Tears streamed down her face. Hey, stop that, okay? You cried last night and now you're crying today? I told you, didn't I? I've got to go. And from now on, you and Hong-er will live with Sis Kite. You've got to work hard. Sis Kite will take care of your food and shelter, but you need to learn some skills too. As for Qianghua, she'll stay with Kite for now. Kite will help her get in touch with her family until someone comes to pick her up.
りょう様には行ってほしくない。スイ姉さんにも。
Stop it.
やだやだ。
Kui-er still held onto my leg, crying and fussing. Tears and snot smeared on my leg.
スイ、やめれ。
Hong-er shouted at Kui-er. Kui-er lifted her tear-streaked face from my leg, looking at her sister with watery eyes.
昨日の夜言っただろ。私もあんたに言い聞かせた。りょう様とスイ姉さんは行っちゃうんだ。スイ姉さんはあんたを抱っこして寝てくれたし、りょう様も贈り物をくれた。やるべきことはやった。ちゃんとお別れしたのに、また騒いだりして。
Hong-er scolded Kui-er. However, her eyes had also reddened. Perhaps kids are just wired that way. Even though we talked about leaving last night, and she seemed okay with it, she's acting up again today. The younger they are, the harder goodbyes seem to be for them.
ほらほら、水児、エン姉さんの話を聞いて、りょう様はね、しなきゃいけないことがあるの。でも、この人はね、いつか戻ってくる。私がりょう様に会うのは、これで3度目。
He just keeps coming
いつも
back.
思いもよらない時に姿を現すの。 これからあんたたちには仕事を覚えてもらうわ。私もちゃんと面倒見てあげる。両様の倍もあなたたちによくしてあげる。
Aww. Kite reached out and gave Queer's head a gentle pat. Queer let go of my hand and stared at Kite blankly.
いつかりょう様と水姉さんは本当に戻ってくるの？
そうよ。
Kite assured Queer.
戻ってくる。
Monsui also promised Queer. Her eyes looked very sincere, not like she was lying. But I knew this last could easily pretend to be sincere to trick people. Anyway, after that, Queer stopped causing trouble. Before Monsui and I left, she hugged the lambs one after another, whispering into each of their ears. I didn't catch what she said. There's gonna be a zoom out for this. Yeah, this is what I was thinking. It was like the little drum on the stick with the two strings with the little ball. Here's the pinwheel, and here, I'm not really sure what this is, to be honest. But we're gonna get a zoom out of this too, where we get to see Liang's face. Then we said goodbye to the lambs and crossed the inn's threshold, and we were about to leave.
りょう様。
Before leaving the inn, I heard Xianghua call out to me. Yeah? I turned back. I waited for her to speak, but tears welled up in her eyes, and she didn't say anything else. As I was about to leave, it hit me that Xianghua might be even sadder than Hong-er and Kui-er. I would be going 1,000 miles south, and once her parents came for her, they would head 1,000 miles north too. This meant that even if I returned someday, Hong-er and Kui-er might still be around, but Xianghua probably wouldn't. It's a farewell, a final goodbye. People always experience their last moments with each other unexpectedly. Even in times of peace, but especially in times of chaos, it's just the way it goes. And that's the case with her and me. Bye, I mumbled, my voice a bit distant. Then turning away, I walked forward alongside Monsui. Whoosh, whoosh. Gotta look cool, because gotta cover my eyes with my bangs so they don't see the tears. Aww. A breeze swept by, tossing my hair and ruffling my clothes. I pulled down my bamboo hat to keep my hair in check. I could hear the little wind wheel spinning behind me. I was accompanied by the tambourine's beat and soft rustle of clay rattle. Their cries, though muted, were unmistakable. Huh, I guess Monsui's ahead? Amidst the music, I could hear the faint sobs of the girls. All the sounds melded together. Adjusting my bamboo hat, I marched forward. The noise faded into the distance until they vanished. Goodbye. Even though it might be our last, we still said goodbye. Yum.
りょう様、このままみんなを宿屋に残していくんですか？
We walked along the dirt road, and Monsui suddenly turned to ask me. Yep, I've sorted things out with Kite, so we'll look after them fine. Hong-er and Kui-er will be with her from now on, and as for Xianghua, Kite will help her get back to her family.
ああ、りょう様はずいぶんエン姉さんのこと信頼しているんですね。
Alright, they don't really know the details.
深い仲なんですか？
Don't talk nonsense. She got married 2 years ago. It has nothing to do with me. I trust her because we have some old debts between us. I once saved her life, and she helped me sell stolen goods and evade pursuit by the authorities. Monsui nodded. She probably figured out Kite's background. What about you? Do you distrust Kite?
信用できますよ。前によくしてくれたお姉さんがいたんです。エンさんにちょっと似ていました。
Yeah, sure, you had a sister. Yeah, sure. Huh? She had a sister before. Was she her real sister? I detected something suspicious in her words, but I didn't plan to delve into such a minor matter.
りょう様はなぜ私だけ宿屋に残さなかったんですか？
Because you want to go to Luoyang. We have been walking towards the station for a while she suddenly asked me. Kite can't take care of too many lambs. Besides, didn't you mention wanting to seek revenge in Luoyang before? I replied, lowering my voice. She seemed a bit lost when I asked, as if needing a moment to gather her thoughts. She's formulating a new plan, recalibrating. Eventually, in a raspy voice, she responded.
そう。落葉に行って 復讐を果たさないと、両様は私を問うように言って。インさんは落葉城につてがあるはずです。途中で虎に出くわして、他の子とコウ様は食べられたけど、私だけ救い出したと言えばいいでしょう。
Yeah, man. It was really rough. Like, Tongue was for sure dead meat, like literally.
私がまた嘘の証言をしたら、両様の責任は追及しないでしょう。お金をたくさんくれるかもしれません。
She calmly outlined her plan to sell herself to the swine demon. She talked about it as if it wasn't her own fate she was deciding. I thought about what she said. It made sense. It didn't cost much for Yin-san to get a lamb, but the swine demon would pay a lot more. If I gave them a lamb, Yin-san gets his money back. And if the swine demon really needs a lamb, they'll take it, even just one. If I give Monsui to them and blame the missing stuff on tigers, I can still finish the deal like with usual. Then, profits aside, I wouldn't be blamed for as much for messing up. Looking at it like that, it's not that bad of a plan. I mean, the only people who would know that there was something like really off are the innkeepers and the staff that worked at the inn where we killed Tongue, and the two people that Tongue hired. But like, I don't know, we've already left that area. Not good. Thought about it some more, and there's a fatal flaw in this plan. What if Monsui's revenge ends up dragging me into it? If I send her over there and she goes through with the assassination, whether she succeeds or not, she's committing a heinous crime. Once she commits that crime, it's on me too, and I'll be implicated in her actions. Plus, didn't I already make up my mind? I won't send any lambs to the swine demon after all, especially considering what they'll be facing. It's just too despicable. Even for this last who tried to kill me and lied to me before, I can't bring myself to do it. I still say no to your revenge plan. I'll take you to Loyan because I know lots of people there, and it's easier to sneak south from there. Once we're in Loyan, I won't contact anyone linked to Yin-san to sell you off. I'll think of another plan for you. I told Monsui
わかり
seriously.
ました。じゃあ、とりあえず落葉に行きましょう。私も復讐しないで、そこで遊ぶだけになるかもしれません。
I don't know about this, Monsui said with a smile. I wasn't sure if she truly meant it or was just trying to ease the tension. How could she treat something so seriously so lightly? We had to stop staring at the sky, please. Please, show me something else. After half a mile's walk, we arrived at the station Kite mentioned. These stations were usually official use only, so common people like us couldn't use their transportation. But lately, with new government rules, many of the stations have been downsized, and things were a bit chaotic. The station staffs couldn't make ends meet with just government funds, so they started taking private jobs on the side. Kite pulled some strings and paid a bit, so we would hitch a ride with one of the delivery wagons heading towards Loyan.
あんたら、おかみさんが紹介してくれた人だね。
Yep. Yeah.
二人だけかい？どこへ行くんだい？
We're going to Loyan, my good sir. Just the two of us heading to Loyan.
あそこの場所に乗っとくれ。乗ったら中のものをむやみに触らんでくれよ。
I will kill you if you decide to rob me of any of my goods.
王様の邸宅に届ける塩袋なんだ。あんたらが降りる前に調べさせてもらう。
Got it. We'll behave and stay out of trouble. I told the wagon driver, then climbed onto the wagon with Monsui. Ah, we're back here. I hopped on first, then reached out to help her up onto the wagon. The wagon was packed with salt sacks, luckily from nearby salt pits by Haizo. Monsui and I nestled amongst the sacks. She took one end and I settled at the other, facing each other. Space in the wagon was tight, but seemed like she had a bit more room to sit than I did. Hey, let's switch spots.
わかりました。
I motioned to Monsui and she nodded, swapping spots with me. We're stuck in this wagon for 2 days, so I'm not going to be polite with her. Besides, she's smaller and better suited for the slightly narrow spot. Whew. This wagon's dark as heck. Feels like a jail ride. But hey, it's just a cargo hauler. Got one tiny window for air. Got to endure this 2-day trip to Loyan. These recent days have been really rough. Might as well catch some sleep.
両様。
As I sighed and looked at the tiny window, Monsui called my name. What's the matter? I raised an eyebrow looking at her.
さっき魚者が言ってた王様って、 トンヨウのことですよね。
Okay, so I was actually kind of thinking about this, I'm not gonna lie. I was wondering when he said that we were bringing this to, was it, I believe, a government official? I don't remember the exact words. Palace of the Lord. I was like, this might be the swine demon. So I was wondering if he was gonna poison the salt. Or like take a piss on it, you know, like fuck him. She whispered to me quietly, yeah, if it's the Lord in Luoyan, then he is indeed the swine demon you're after. Huh. So you knew the swine demon was the Lord all along?
そうですよ。とっくに知っていました。
I'm baffled. How did this last find out? Was it from Yin-san all along? Or did she eavesdrop on my talk with Tongue? I just can't seem to puzzle it out.
りょう様、塩袋に毒を仕込んだら、トンヨウを殺せるんじゃないかな。
I don't know if that's a good idea because that inadvertently leads a track that might lead back to Kite. Just as I was wondering how she knew the swine demon was the Lord, she spoke up again. Nope, can't do that. There are too many palace servants. Poisoning the salt might harm innocent people. Plus, if the swine demon survives, they'll trace it back to the driver and us, putting Kite and the other lambs at risk too. Yeah, I was thinking of the second part. Mansui nodded, seemingly abandoning the idea of poisoning the salt
じゃあ、
bags.
馬車の中に隠れて、隙を見て飛び出してトンヨウを殺すとか。
Hell no. I'm not sure if this wagon is headed straight to the palace, but even if it is, we can't just go ahead with this plan. What if we charge out and the swine demon ain't there? We'd be in a fix. If we step out with Blaze, their guards will catch us in no time. And remember, killing the swine demon is your thing, not mine.
え、りょう様は侠客になりたいんじゃなかったんですか？トンヨウを銃殺して、歴史に名を残すって。
I don't want to be a hero no more, I just want to survive. I've long abandoned the hero's path, and I'm not willing to risk my life for a dream I've forsaken. I douse Mansui's enthusiasm. She's still too naive. Even if I were to slay the swine demon, how could I make history? The chronicles are filled with his royal kin, and they're the ones who write the history books. Killing him would merely make me another outlaw in the annals. Me and Mansui sat in the wagon. After about a stick of intense time, the wagon finally started moving. Luckily, the wagon was pretty good at muffling sounds, so our earlier talk probably went unheard by the driver. Then suddenly, he shouted, "Moving! Hold on!" And he gave the reins a tug, setting the 4 horses pulling the wagon into motion. Clattering hooves and creaking wheels etched long trails in the dirt path. The wagon sped along, jolting us inside like bouncing bunnies, our backsides taking a pounding. 2 days of this, and I'll need a cushion. Guess I'm more of a walker than a wagon rider. If it weren't for the time constraints, I'd rather hoof it. Definitely walking next
りょ
time.
う様、以前に落葉に行ったことはあるのですか？
Just as I was mulling over the rough ride ahead, Mansui piped up. I imagine Liang would probably have some acquaintances there. He mentioned that he knows people, right? Fair enough. I guess I could chat with her, kill some time. Went to Luoyan twice before, stopping by only on business.
落葉は他の町と比べて何が違うと思いますか？
Wider streets, bigger houses, and richer people. Oh, but not everyone's rich. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. I explained to Mansui, sharing my impressions of Luoyan. And besides that, lots of old buildings around. They say that there are many ancient houses from the Tang and Song dynasties still standing in the city. And you? What do you think of Luoyan? After sharing my thoughts, I asked Mansui. She mentioned that she's from around Luoyan, so she probably has some impressions of the city too.
私の記憶は当てになりません。
Was Luoyan the city that she and her father went to for a shadow play? I don't remember. I know they went to like a town to sell stuff.
家は落葉付近にありましたが、それでもかなり遠いところでした。
That might be it. She's only
今
been
までに
once.
一度しか落葉城に入ったことがありません。幼い頃、父が私を落葉城に連れて行ってくれました。町に川があって、川の果てに湖があったのを覚えています。
A river and a lake. Gotta remember that.
私は迷子になって、川に沿って泣きながら歩きました。
A river in
川の
Luoyan?
突き当たりに湖が見えたところで、
Oh, whoops.
父に会えた。
A river in Luoyan. Oh, you mean the Chan River, right? But the Chan River connects to the Luo River runs through the whole city. There can't be a lake, right?
じゃあ私の思い違いでしょうか。
Does that mean she... If she doesn't remember that correctly, something's kind of up.
残念だな。
Maybe she was just making up having been to Loyan before. What's wrong?
水児たちは落葉に行ったことがないんです。みんなにも見せてあげたい。今はこうしてりょう様と二人きりになっちゃった。
You're boring, I don't want to be with you. This lass had quite the imagination. One minute we're talking about Loyan, and the next she was lost in her own world, head slightly bowed. Let me ask you something. Right before you left, what did you tell them? I frowned and asked her.
特別なことは何も。これからもみんなに会いに来るって伝えただけです。
Is that the same thing to everyone?
だいたい同じ。私は贈り物も用意してなかったから、お別れの挨拶くらいはしなくちゃ。あ、そういえば、りょう様は私に贈り物をくれるのを忘れてるんじゃないですか？
I swear, if he got her a fucking pouch, that would be so fucking cruel. I feel like in cases like these, it's usually like a hairpiece of something. They said clothing and accessory, but I imagine he's gonna give her an accessory. An accessory is usually... I'm gonna assume it's a hairpiece. Mansui suddenly got excited. She looked at me with hopeful eyes. Oh, I remember now. This morning when I entered Haizo, I got her a gift too. I hadn't given it to her yet. Alright, I'll show you the gift now. I agreed and began reaching into the package behind me. After a few gropes, I found it easily. Okay, where were you hiding that? Please tell me it wasn't up a certain hole. The gift was wrapped in a small package. I took it out and unwrapped it to show Mansui. It was a pair of shoes. Oh, okay. I did not expect that.
これは靴？
Mansui looked at the pair of shoes in the package, a bit surprised. Inside the package was a pair of shoes. The shoes were light blue, with two pointed tips, bright silver peonies attached on both sides, looking delicate and small, like the two little birds with folded wings. Mansui glanced at the shoes, then at me.
りょう様、どうして私に靴を買ってくれたんですか？
Of all things, why? After all the walking, I noticed that your shoes were almost falling apart, with their toes poking out. Worried about having trouble walking later, so I got you a new pair of shoes. You don't like them?
気に入りました。
Ah, okay. Mansui lifted her gaze to meet mine, giving a slight smile. Her smile widened, showing her teeth, and revealing two shallow dimples. Aww. I was kind of surprised. Never seen her like this before. When she smiled before, it seemed oddly mature. Usually her smile feels kind of grown up. But now she's just like any other girl her age, smiling brightly.
質感もいいし、触ると柔らかい。
Mansui held the shoes, not wanting to let go. They're expensive as hell. Cost me 400 coins they did. I replied.
りょう様、履かせてくれませんか？
400 coins? This will delay your death by 400 hours. She suddenly asked me softly. What? I didn't quite get what she meant by it right away.
私の靴を脱がして、新しい靴を履かせて。
Her face turned a bit red as she asked me. You got hands and feet, why do you need me to do it? I asked her in a low voice. This lass, she wants me to change her shoes? Can you believe it? Normally, it's the servants who change shoes for their masters. She's just a lamb I'm selling off. If I were a human trafficker, she'd be my servant. Ah, he's back to lamb! How could she even ask me to change her
小
shoes?
さい頃、父が私に靴をくれたことがありまし
Her
た。
eyes are hidden from the screen
そ
again.
の時、履かせてくれたんです。
She's remembering her dad. She's like, should I kill him? She looked down, her eyes shaded by her bangs, like she was remembering something. I paused. Just when I thought she was pushing it, she explained to me why she wanted me to help her change her shoes. Ah, I see. She mentioned it a few days ago. Her sisters and parents are all gone, and she doesn't have any family left in this world. Without family, not many people would bother to give her gifts or take care of her like this. She just wanted to feel cared for again. That's why she asked me to help her change her shoes when I gave them to her. This lass, having her family taken away at such a young age. Even earlier than me, without any family left. It's pretty sad. Damn, this is so freaking the irony in this, man. The irony. All right, just this once. Don't expect me to help you next time. I sighed helplessly as I spoke to her. At the same time, I made up my mind to set aside my pride, picked up the shoes, and squatted in front of her. Beat! Liang. Mansui. We were inside the wagon's cargo space, surrounded by bags of salt. The wagon jolted along, her on one side, me on the other. Neither of us spoke. Though it's just a simple shoe swap, the process felt incredibly long. Mansui adjusted her positioning first. She leaned her upper body back, arms straight against the wooden planks of the cargo hold, bracing herself. Unlike her tilted upper body, her lower half leaned forward. Damn, I have to say, like, she is very, very malnourished. I guess it makes sense in this era, but like, for lack of better words, there's not much meat on these bones. She crossed her legs, but slowly extended her foot, cautiously getting closer to me. The scene resembled a child by the lake, tentatively testing the water's depth. I'm gonna change them now, I said softly, breaking the awkward silence. Then I dropped to my left knee, kneeling in front of her. Reaching out, I grasped her left foot with both hands, intending to remove the shoe from that foot first. Her current shoe was indeed very dirty, torn and old, with many places worn through the original fabric. You can see a lot of tears here. Beat! I gently held the ends of the worn-out shoe with my hands and quickly took it off. Her left foot was exposed in an instant. Wow, they're going very detailed into this. Her foot, like the rest of her body, was slim and somewhat frail. You could see that the bone on her sole and the grooves of her ankle, every line showing her thinness. The only plump part was her 5 round toes. But overall, her feet looked pretty, okay? Her feet weren't wrapped. I heard that fancy families like to tie up their ladies' feet to make them smaller and prettier. I don't get it though. Yeah, Liang's not a foot person. Tying feet like that just makes them look weird, not cute. But her feet, growing naturally, looked pretty nice.
Ryo-sama.
Dude, just put on the shoe already. What?
どうしてずっと私の足を見つめているんですか?
Feet?
見られると恥ずかしくなっちゃう。
Feet. Oh, I just noticed that you're really skinny, so I looked a bit longer. I thought you were thick-skinned. Wouldn't feel embarrassed.
恥ずかしいに決まってます。男と女なんだから。
She went all shy and red. Men and women are different. Funny hearing that from this cheeky little brat. But isn't it odd? Back at the bathhouse, I saw everything. She didn't seem bothered then. Now, just because I glanced at her feet, she's talking about men and women being different. Despite my thoughts, I kept them to myself. I didn't want to make her feel more uncomfortable. I proceeded with my task, removing her right shoe and slipping on the new one with a silver peony embroidery. The shoes slowly enveloped her feet, fitting snugly. I gently knotted the toe and adjusted the heel to ensure a perfect fit. Ah, that's what it looks like. Aw, that is kind of cute. Good fit?
ちょうどいい。
Just right. Try standing and moving around. Mansui nodded and stood up in the shoes I gave her. The wagon's cargo area was just high enough for her to stand. She tried out the feel of the walking inside the wagon, stepping lightly on the wooden floorboards.
ぴったり。いい感じ。
After trying them out, she said to me, "That's good to hear. I was worried they might be too small."
小さくない。亮様からの贈り物。とても気に入りました。
She said with a smile, and I felt relieved. Whew. Finally done swapping her shoes. Funny thing is, even though she likes the new shoes I got her, she won't let go of her old ones. She packed those old shoes away in her bag. Ugh. Is she just being tight-fisted, thinking that she can sell off those old shoes, or were they a gift from her dad? Yeah, this chapter is a lot longer than I expected. I was expecting to maybe do this today, but I think I'm gonna stop at the end of this chapter. After putting on the new shoes for Mansui, we stayed quiet for a while. Yeah, that was really awkward. She just sat there, lost in her own thoughts. She's like, do I hate him? Do I want to kill him? I don't know. He's a lot better than I thought he was. But he killed my dad. He's a different person. I didn't bother trying to figure out what was on her mind. Oh. I took a sip from my water jug and leaned against a tiny window of the cargo hold, watching the scenery outside. The wagon moved forward, leaving the landscape behind in a blur. With each bump of the wagon, the scenery outside fluctuated up and down. Watching the rapidly changing landscape, I began to feel drowsy. In 2 days, we'll get to Loyan City. What's our move? I reckon I'm not keen on taking her to that swine demon's place no more. But what's next for us? Where are we heading? With a lot on my mind, the sleepiness crept in. My upper and lower eyelids started a tussle, going on for about a dozen rounds. Then I tipped my head back, then forward, and finally shut my eyes. Ugh. Vaguely, I heard Monsuy's voice. Dream or not, it felt like she asked me.
これまでたくさん人を殺してきて後悔していないの?
She asked, no emotion, her voice airy, indifferent. And half asleep, I gave my answer. Ooh. So I have an idea. So clearly, this is going to be the last choice here. There's no bad end or anything. I'm pretty sure we're guaranteed to go into Liang Chapter 14. I think some of these choices are not meant to help you diverge, but they're here for, I mean, it's kind of obvious. They're here for the affinity points. Here is where basically Monsui has to decide what to do in the ending. Huh. So first I'm going to try no regret, saying, yeah, I don't regret killing your dad. I'm pretty sure that's going to result in something pretty bad. But I also, I'm going to stick with the regret later. So I want to try no regret and see what kind of dialogue we get. No regret. Sweet, chapter 4. Despair. Okay, so yeah, that was the last line of that. I think that was solely for points. Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah, that's, this is really bad. Okay, let's see what happens if I say regret. It's gonna be the same thing where we go to Sweet Chapter 4, isn't it? Yeah. You know what? I'm a little bit too curious. I kind of do want to do this part. It's just gonna be so tragic because you know her father's dead and her family's gonna also die. I'm hungry. So hungry. I hadn't eaten for 3 straight days, not even a bowl of thin porridge. I laid on bed and slept with my body curled up. My stomach kept bothering me last night and I felt nauseous in my throat. I just wanted to throw up, but I could only retch. A few more hours passed and I felt even worse. I felt groggy, like I had a layer of oil over my brain. My entire body felt sluggish. Something really strange was happening onto my body. My chest felt like it was burning, but my limbs were cold. Rolling up my sleeves, I touched my bare arms and felt like there was an invisible garment draped over them. I used my nails to scratch at the clothing on my arms, but nothing came off, only leaving behind white marks. I felt like a snake, a quiet snake on the verge of death. I couldn't shed my skin, and I had to endure the torment of altering hot and cold sensations. I was probably going to die soon. I wonder if her family thinks that maybe the dad ran away with the money, even though dad clearly died.
あと何回食べられる?
3回。
じゃあその後は何を食べるの?
外に林があるし、坂の上には草も生えてる。木の皮や野草を食べるのよ。
お母さん、木の皮は食べられないよ。おばばが言ってた。木の皮は硬くて、
Ooh, ew.
食べたらうんちが出なくなるから手でほじるんだって。ほじりたくない。
ほじらなくていい。食べる前に処理するから。木の皮を柔らかく茹でてすりつぶすの。それをあなたと祭事に食べさせてあげる。
I wonder if Kai's still alive or if she's just going crazy.
茹でた木の皮は甘い味がする。意外と美味しいのよ。
Silently, I listened to my mom talk. I wasn't sure where Mom learned all this. Could it also be that she had to go through some hard times when she was little? Since Mom could survive back then, I can too. After talking to me, Mom started to make porridge for us. The rice container was pretty much empty and there wasn't much water left in the water tank. Mom scooped up a bowl of water and put it in the pot, then grabbed a handful of rice and sprinkled it in evenly. I crouched by the pot, watching the rice slowly sink to the bottom, resembling pieces of meat. I want to eat it so bad. However, it's definitely still gonna be a while before I can have some. Mom still has to cook it for a little while. Plus, even after it's ready, she'll always let my brother eat first. Lately, my brother hasn't been talking much. Half a month after Dad left, my brother got sick again. He had a really bad fever, even worse than before. Mom was very worried and kept feeding my brother porridge. She even peeled off the last of the cabbage and added it to the porridge for him. After having porridge for a few days, my brother's fever finally subsided. But after that, he became a mute and couldn't talk anymore. Oh crap.
母さん、どうしてお父さんは帰ってこないの？
理由はないわ。逃げ出したか、死んでしまったか。
I asked Mom, and she casually answered me as if she threw firewood into the stove. I didn't believe that Dad ran away. There's no way that Dad would have left us behind. He promised. He either got lost or couldn't find his way home. Or something happened to him.
お母さん、この間村に行ってみたら、みんな逃げて誰もいなかったよ。
I talked to Mom again when she was making porridge.
水児、また外に出たの？勝手に出歩いたらダメって言わなかった？さらわれて食べられてもいいの？
お母さん、みんな逃げて
Damn.
村には誰もいないの。誰も私を食べないわよ。お母さん、お父さんが帰ってこなかったら、私たちはずっと家で待つの。
Mentally, I'm like trying to piece together how Sweet managed to get out of this situation. Clearly everyone dies except for her, but like, does she just, I mean, she has no reason to stay once her family's dead, but like, does she just keep traveling to like bigger cities? Like, how does she even have the energy? She's been starving for days. Does someone come and rescue her? I kind of doubt it because this environment, everyone kind of cares for themselves. I don't know what happened.
待つわよ。こんなに待ったんだから。あと数日待っても同じ。
I kind of wonder if she's gonna have some dreams of her dad being like, no, you gotta go, you're gonna die if you stay, because like she's had dreams before that's like warned her, like with her grandma and whatnot.
私たちは逃げないの？
逃げない。
Mom replied to me in a low voice. Actually, I could sort of guess why Mom didn't want to go out. My brother was sick and couldn't walk on his own. Fleeing with our little brother wasn't easy, nor could we leave him behind. Besides, Dad had mentioned the presence of tigers, bandits, and even evil spirits in the distant mountains. If Dad had been here to protect us, we would have dared to venture out. But with Dad gone, Mom wouldn't dare to flee with us alone. The porridge was ready. My mom fed my younger brother the porridge. My brother didn't make any noise. He ate the porridge with his eyes closed. If his mouth weren't opening and closing, I would have thought something was wrong with him. After my brother finished the bowl of porridge, my mom started to pack things up as if she was heading out.
お母さん、出かけるの？
ええ。おかゆを食べて力があるうちに木の皮を取ってくる。
Mom said calmly. She grabbed a knife and put on a straw hat and was about to head out.
私も一緒に行く。
あなたが来てどうするの？家で在児を見てて。
ダメ。お父さんみたいに帰ってこないと困る。お母さん、私も一緒に行かせて。
わかった。じゃあ一緒に行
Oh
きましょう。
man, that's so rough.
私がおんぶするから なたは手伝って。
Mom hesitated for a short while, but agreed to my request. Oh, fucking hell. Mom handed me the knife to use to cut tree bark. She then put my brother in a bundle and strapped the bundle to her back. My brother still slept with his eyes closed, not moving a muscle. Mom carried my little brother on her back, stooping slightly. With one hand tightly gripping the rope that connected her to my brother, and the other hand holding mine, the three of us headed out together. Mom and I looked around for a while, and we found a grove of trees near our home. Surprisingly, the wood differed from what I'd seen 2 days ago. The tree in the woods had no bark left. Every tree, wherever people could reach, was bare. Oh my god. People have already eaten the bark. It looked like people who had been stripped of their clothes halfway, with their upper bodies still clothed, but their lower bodies completely bare.
どうしてこんな。
I stared blankly at the wood in front of me, unable to believe what I was seeing.
水児、みんな逃げたと言ってたじゃないの。
わからない。まだ逃げてない人がいるのかも。お母さん、逃げないで。私たちより一足先に木の皮を剥いたんだわ。
I started to panic.
水児、在地を連れて帰りなさい。
As Mom spoke, she untied the rope holding my brother. She then handed me the bundle containing my brother.
重いよ。抱っこして歩けない。
I took my brother from my mom, but nearly stumbled when I held him in my arms. I was very weak, and holding my brother was already quite a challenge for me. Walking back would be far too
じゃあ
difficult.
おんぶして背中を向けなさい。背中にくくりつけてあげるからおんぶして帰るのよ。
As Mom spoke, she moved behind me and tied my brother to my back. Instantly, my back felt heavy, stooped just like Mom's had been moments before. So heavy. Carrying my brother was a lot harder than it seemed when Mom was doing it. I felt like my brother was too heavy, almost too much for me to carry.
お母さん、どうして一緒に帰らないの？
I asked my mom as I struggled to carry my
野
brother.
草を探してみる。野草の根は甘くて食べられるのよ。おかゆがなくなりそうだから食べ物を用意しないと。飢え死にしないように。
でも、お母さんまで。
Mom paused briefly. She knew what I was trying to say. She knew I was worried that she wouldn't come back just like Dad.
水児、私が帰らなかったら残りのおかゆを
Oh
食べて。
God, I think the mom's planning to die.
それから在地を連れて老人に会ったらおじいさんやおばあさんと呼んで、若いのに会ったらおじさんやおばさんと呼ぶの。誰かに会ったらみんなに頭を下げて助けを求めなさい。
He's like, do everything you can to
食
survive,
べ物を
please.
もらって在地と一緒に生き延びるのよ。
Mom advised slowly and I nodded.
後で家に着いたら必ず扉を閉めて鍵をかけて。私が来るまで開けちゃダメよ。
Mom continued to give me instructions. I understood what she meant and why Mom wanted us to go back first. The woods around us seemed to have had visitors these past 2 days. Whoever just finished eating the tree bark might be lurking by. They were really dangerous. Mom needed to be cautious, and so did I. I carried my brother on my back, step by step. I headed towards home. Damn, look at the brother's face. They don't even have it here. My brother was really heavy, especially for me. I felt dizzy with each step I took. I was almost out of strength. As I walked with my brother on my back, for some reason, I suddenly remembered a story Grandma used to tell. A story was called Kwa Fu, Chasing the Sun. Many years ago, there was a giant called Kwa Fu. Many of his people had died from the scorching sun, so Kwa Fu wanted to go after the sun, catch it, and make it obey commands. His people tried to dissuade him. Some said that he would be roasted to death by the sun, while others said that he would be exhausted to death, urging him not to go. But Kwa Fu didn't listen. He went after the sun. In the end, He ran and drank up the rivers along the way, but he couldn't catch up with the sun. He later died of the thirst on the road. I'm not sure why I recalled this story all of a sudden. I just felt that Dad was like Kwafu, even if he didn't come back. And if Mom didn't come back, she would be like Kwafu as well. If I died of exhaustion on the way back home with my brother on my back, I would fall like Kwafu did too.
もうすぐ家に着く。ねえ、最後くらい自分で降りて歩けないの？
Damn. I'm looking at like Kair's like limbs. When I said Mansui didn't have much meat on the bones, Kair is really like unproportioned. His proportions are extremely not natural. Oh god. I could already see our house from afar, but I was almost out of strength. Days of hunger had left me dizzy, and I could see the little stars blinking every time I opened and closed my eyes. I crouched on the ground, slowly undoing the rope, letting my brother down from my back. I placed him in front of me. My brother was asleep, not moving at all.
疲れた。もう動けない。
I heaved out a long sigh.
姉ちゃん。
Oh, he spoke. I heard my brother speaking, but I felt strange. I heard his voice, but somehow I felt like I didn't.
どうして喋れるの？
Feeling confused, I asked my brother.
姉ちゃん、お腹空いた。
My brother whispered to me, his voice ringing in my head.
お腹空いた。心配しないで。お母さんが後で野草を持ってくるから。野草は甘くて美味しいのよ。食べたらお腹いっぱいになるから。お姉ちゃん、寒い。
My brother spoke again. He said this exact sentence a month ago or so, when Dad hadn't left yet. I felt even more uneasy. My heart was racing. The sentence sounded so much like 1 month ago. Everything about it, from the tone of his voice, the way it was said, it was exactly the same. I reached over and put my hand over my brother's forehead. His forehead wasn't hot. It was cold.
どうしたの？
I froze and started panicking a bit. They thought I had made a mistake. Oh, he died. I reached over and touched him again. He was cold. He was still cold. With a trembling voice, I called out to him while I reached over to gently touch his hand, legs, and chest. Cold! They were all cold!
ねえ、では。
I cried out in shock and used my fingers to pry open his tightly shut eyes. His pupil had already dilated. They were dark without any sparkle. My head hurt a lot. The sudden chill made my entire body tremble. It occurred to me that starting from yesterday, I hadn't seen my brother move at all. When Mom had fed his porridge, he didn't actually open his mouth when the spoon approached. Instead, Mom used a wooden spoon to pry open his mouth and forcefully shoved it in. Mom managed to feed him a lot of porridge, most of which ended up in his stomach, but some dribbled from the corners of his mouth, and he still didn't react at all. Oh my god. Hungry. We were too hungry. Mom and I were too hungry, and we were actually already hallucinating. No wonder our brother was already long dead. Oh my god. He died long before we knew it. Mom returned home at night. She found very few wild grass roots because most of the wild grass had already been pulled by others and eaten. She looked lost, clutching a tattered cloth bundle, and found me sobbing while holding my brother. I cried as I told her about my brother's death. Upon hearing this, she trembled, staring blankly ahead. The ragged cloth bundle containing the wild grass slipped from her fingers and fell to the ground with a soft thud. And after that, Mom didn't say anything at all. She simply walked to the side of the bed, lifted my brother up, whose body was cold. She rocked him back and forth, softly singing a song I couldn't understand. I had a dream. In my dream, I saw Grandma and my little brother. They were still standing in the clouds while looking at me from afar without saying a word. I mean, here I can see a hand. I can't really see anything else. Suddenly, my brother extended his arm while holding a fist, getting me to check out the thing in his palm with a smile on his face. I walked over step by step to check it out. My brother's fingers slowly opened, revealing a treasure we had been hiding in his palm. Oh, it's a sweet potato. Oh no, in his hand was a piece of meat. A cooked, delicious smelling piece of meat. Oh, are they cannibalizing him now? Oh, fuck. In the middle of the night, I was awoken by the delicious smell of meat. So I wasn't dreaming at all. It really did smell like meat. The smell drifted from nearby right into my nostrils. My stomach lurched, then growled. I was almost out of strength. My body felt as light as a kite. When I smelled that smell, my entire body seemed to be filled with something. It suddenly felt heavier. Smells so good. Meat smells so good. I licked my upper lip and immediately sat up straight. Then I opened my eyes and looked towards the source of the smell of the meat. It turned out Mom was cooking meat. Mom had a pot set up while she squatted down next to it. She was humming a song while cooking meat. The flames were gently flickering in the darkness of night. She threw my brother's tattered clothes into the fire, fanning the flames of the palm leaf fan. In the soup was the soup in the pot boiled. The smell of meat wafted through the air. I walked towards Mom, feeling confused. I didn't know where she got the meat from. Oh my fucking god. She tilted her head, looked at me with a blank stare, and called out my brother's name. Oh my god, yeah, her mother's gone.
もうすぐ出来上がるわ。お母さん。私は炊事よ。炊事？炊事。早く財事を呼んできて。肉の汁物を飲ませてあげるの。そういえば、さっき夢におばばが出てきて、私に実家に帰れと。私は帰れないと答えたの。だってあなたたちの面倒を見るってお父さんと約束したから。おばばは私が残ることを知って説得しなくなったわ。おばばは私を連れて土地神様にお参りしたの。土地神様は優しくて小豚を一匹くれたのよ。その小豚は白くて太っててたくさん肉が食べられる。炊事、それからどうなったと思う？その豚は夢の中だけだと思ってた。ところが目が覚めると夢の中から持ち出すことができたの。だから残った水を全部鍋に入れて小豚を料理してあなたたちに食べさせるつもりだったの。
Oh, now they're out of water too.
財事が先に豚足を食べて炊事が食べてあなたたちが先に食べなさい。お母さんは最後に。
Ma spoke to me non-stop as she stood there, seemingly rooted to the spot. Man, even in her delusions though, she is letting her children eat first. Like, I am still like a little bit bitter that she wanted to sell off her daughter, but you can really see, given the situation, why she would do that. There are many families who did it so that their families could survive and the person, in hopes, and hope that the person they sold would also have a better life, because it was either that or everyone's starving to death. That's the logic that Hunger and Queer's, you know, their family probably had as well. I slowly walked to the pot and looked at the soup with its meat emanating the savory scent. Oh no. Then the faint mist dissipated, slowly revealing the shape of the boiled meat. When I noticed the shape of the meat, my eyes immediately widened. A cold despair surged up from my spine and swallowed me in an instant. I was gonna scream at first, but it was as if something was strangling me and I couldn't make a sound. Mom had gone mad. Actually, I want to go mad like her too, and look at this meat soup as if it were cooked like with a piglet. Oh my god. So that's why she didn't panic as much when she saw tongue chopped up into bits. Oh, but I couldn't. The meat in the pot had a sour smell, smelling similar to the meat of the kitten cooked months ago. It smelled nothing like pork at all. And as it bobbed up and down the boiling pot, I could make out its shape little by little. Despite being swollen and distorted from the cooking, I could still recognize him.
お母さん、それは豚じゃない。それは弟よ。
I screamed in horror, my voice instantly filling the cold room. When Mom heard what I said, her body trembled violently at first, Then her smile froze. She slowly stretched out her hand and reached into the boiling pot. She grabbed my brother's hand in the pot and quickly pulled back her hand before falling backwards to the ground. Mom didn't move at all, like a clay sculpture. I crouched down and stared blankly at Mom. I didn't cry this time. We didn't talk. After a long while, I suddenly heard my mom's heart-wrenching scream.
言いなさい。どうやって財児を死なせたの？財児はずっと元気だったのに、どうしてあなたと一緒に帰ってきたら死んじゃったの？あなたが殺したんだ。あなたが殺したんだ。
Mom pressed me onto the ground and started choking me as if she wanted me dead. Damn, this is the third time we see Monsui being choked out.
違う。私じゃない。おかゆを食べさせるときにもう死んでたの。
嘘つけ！あなたが殺したのよ！嘘だ！水児！なんて親不幸な娘なの！我が家は後継ぎもいなくなるわ。お父さんやおばばになんて言うの！言え！言え！
Mom kept on crying while choking me. She was choking me so hard I could hardly breathe.
お母さん、本当に私が殺したんじゃない。お願い、殺さないでね。草の根も虫も掘り出してあげるから。お母さんは家で横になってて、私が食べ物を探す。お母さん、親孝行するから飢え死にさせないから、お願い、殺さないで。
I cried and begged my mother while I thrashed my body about. When she saw me crying and begging, she instantly started panicking. Confusion, pain, guilt, fear, sadness. I saw a range of emotions flash through my mother's eyes. When the emotions faded, Mom seemed to be sane again. The sad emotion in her eyes made me feel like she was finally back to her old self. She let go of me and stood there like a puppet. Then she took 2 steps back and sat back down on the ground again. After she sat on the ground, she curled up her body. She wrapped her arms around her knees like a little girl, buried her head in them, then stopped moving. She seemed to be crying and laughing at the same time. She wasn't paying attention to me for now. Seeing my mother like this, and realizing that she didn't seem to want to kill me anymore, I staggered to my feet. I didn't have time to wipe my tears before I hurriedly ran out the house. I headed out trying to find something to eat for Mom. She wasn't going to kill me for now, but there was no telling when she tried to choke me to death again. Mom had got mad. She really had. My brother was dead, and that made her go mad. After she went mad, she even blamed everything on me and wanted to kill me. Her love for me wasn't even half of what she had for my brother. No, probably not even 1/10 of it. If I died, she definitely would have cooked me instantly and had my brother eat my flesh. Bad mom. Bad mom. With this thought, I felt aggrieved and bitter in my heart. As I walked absent-mindedly, I kicked at the dirt alongside the road. I mentally cursed my mom as I cried. The tears didn't fall, but I knew I was crying. I was the one who was born first, the one who knew Mom longer. Why did she treat me like that? Dad wouldn't be so biased towards my brother. Even though my brother could carry on the family name and take the imperial examinations, he wouldn't treat me like distressed goods. He wouldn't want to kill me for my brother. As if I wasn't even my mom's kid. As if she didn't even carry me in her womb for 10 months and give birth to me. As if she had adopted me from somewhere else. I hate Mom. I hate how she was unfair to me. I hate how she loved my brother more. She didn't even love me at all. I felt aggrieved and cried, but tears wouldn't come. I was a bit dizzy from hunger, but I didn't stop walking. Where could I find wild grass? Where could I find wild grass? I walked around in a panic, searching for wild grass near our house. After half an hour, I still hadn't found any. No, I couldn't go empty-handed. If I couldn't find any wild grass and Mom got mad, she might kill me. She might choke me to death and then cook me and eat my flesh. The thought of that terrified me, so I searched desperately, daring not to rest for a moment. Early the next morning, the sun rose from the other side of the mountain. I finally found some wild grass. I dragged my exhausted body back home with a bundle of grass. I was still scared before I pushed the door open. I was scared that Mom would go mad again and charge towards me and try to choke me to death. But when I pushed the door open and saw the scene inside, I stood dumbfounded at the doorway. Oh. The sound of a rope swaying. The sound of water boiling. My mom was hanging in midair. Her shadow was very long, enveloping me in the darkness and completely blocking out the morning lights. With her head lowered and her hair disheveled, her face remained hidden. Her hand and feet hung naturally, while the soles of her feet showed no signs of bruising, and a wooden chair laid kicked aside nearby. She was hung on a rope that was swaying ever so slightly. The morning sunlight streamed through the window panes, illuminating her dirty dress. Mom looked like a dead moth caught in a spider's web. When a moth dies that way, its wings would be spread, making it appear suspended in the air. I'm really not surprised that this is how she ended up. I thought this might happen because when Mansui said that her entire family died, like clearly her father was killed by Liang, and then her brother was gonna at least succumb to his sickness sooner or later. Because it didn't really seem like the mother cared for the daughter as much, and like she was completely reliant on the father, it really felt like she was gonna just kind of exit herself from this life. I called out to Mom softly, kneeling before her right in her shadow. Just moments ago, I was scared of Mom. I feared that she'd be insane and kill me, but now I wish she would speak to me again. Creak, creak. The sound of a rope swaying. Gurgle, gurgle. The sound of water boiling. I'm all alone now. Realizing this, I numbly crouched and then crawled forward in agony for a few more steps. I didn't know what to do. I just wanted to hide. I curled up myself and hid under Mom's shadow. Her shadow swayed back and forth while the darkness enveloped me. Mom was hanging in the house while my brother was in the pot. Grandma was buried in the backyard while Dad was nowhere to be found. And I? Where should I go? Oh my fucking god. That's so bad. That is so bad. Liang, chapter 15, fireworks. This is like really, really uncomfortable. I think I'm gonna stop here for today. I wasn't planning on going that long, but like, I was just really interested in the aftermath of her father not coming home, and now seeing what it was, I'm surprised she bared with Liang for that long. Oh man, I kind of want to see the extras, the CGs we have now, and how full they are, because we end up getting a whole bunch. We have different variations of certain ones. So here we have the shoe one, but this is basically where we ended off. So 6, 7, 8 should be relatively locked off. Ooh. Oh man, this game is really good at making you feel uncomfortable. Oh, I feel really bad. And right now in the flowchart, we're 71% through. Once again, I probably won't be able to get 100% because like there are like 4 different affinity ratings, and I don't want to play the game 4 times. And I haven't really been making good saves, but it seems like we have chapter 15. We're gonna have, well, Liang chapter, Mansui chapter 5, I think. I'm not exactly sure about these, but we'll have affinity ending and then maybe these 2 parts. Yeah, close to the end. Oh, my heart hurts. It fucking sucks. I don't really know what to say. It's just completely tragic, and I wish that Mansui didn't have to go through any of this. Honestly, I can't even blame the mom for what her decisions are, because you can see having an extra mouth to feed was just an extra burden to her, and it caused so much trouble. And if they had more money, or even just, you know, anything at all, to be honest, they might have survived a little bit longer, but it just wasn't in the cards, it seems. Like, there is potentially a world where they sold off Mansui, and maybe Kai could have survived. I'm not sure. And maybe Mansui could have hopefully been lucky enough to be sold to like a decent family, but honestly, those are all what ifs. And oh man, Oh, it's just so depressing. But, well, I mean, next chapter's called Fireworks. Maybe we'll have something that's like a little bit less depressing, something more happy. But we'll find out next time. Until then, I will be seeing you. See ya!